What I really want to know genuinely from men is, do you just get pleasure of talking to girls and inviting them on dates and then ghosting them? What is with men talking to you, right? They talk to you for like 1 or 2 weeks, plan a date, they cancel, maybe the day of, day before, or they just don't reply. Like, this has happened to me so many times. And I'm just like, why are you wasting my time? Like, I don't want a pen pal. I don't want to message you all the time and then not actually ever meet you. Like, I actually don't understand what people get from talking to people for so long, arranging a date, and then actually have no intention of going on a date. Like, do you actually have an intention of going on a date? Or, like, what's the vibe here? Because I can't do this.
There's an interesting vibe. A vibe that a lot of men don't love women anymore. Don't like them anymore.
Why?
For some reason. Or as if men never did. Have a listen.
A 32-year-old woman got ghosted by a 23-year-old that she matched with on a dating app, and their first date activity was supposed to be them like doing her taxes or something. A little bit of dating advice: don't ever make that a first date activity, don't make that a date activity. You shouldn't be sharing your financials, any W-type forms, any forms, with a date. He doesn't need to know how much you make. He doesn't need to know how much you've donated. He doesn't need to know any of that stuff.
Straight men don't like women. End of story. But is it? Is it?
This is so much facts. Straight men don't like women. End of story. That is the biggest fact I've ever heard. And we all know that to be true. We all know that. Men hate women. Are you kidding me?
But where are women getting this from? This idea, this notion, this thought.
And we all know that to be true.
That men don't like them. Yes, of course, men would use them, use their time, energy, and their bodies.
I'm valuable.
I'm going to treat you like a piece of meat.
But there's no appreciation there, no love, no care, apparently.
We don't make love.
But is it even true?
Men don't like women. They really don't. They like kitty.
Yeah.
They like what we do for them, our time, our labor, our energy.
And cook for me.
That we bring their children into the world, even though that's kind of iffy because they like that we bring their children into the world, but they also hate it for us, right? They tell us our value decreases after we've gifted them with human life.
Now she's a single mom.
Figure. I mean, that right there should tell you that they hate us. Like, only women give life on this planet, and yet we're hated for it. But they also need us to continue life. Anyway.
So here we have the point of using the woman. Still using her time, energy, and body.
Spicy.
Body even so far as to have her reproduce your offspring, your seed, and raise them, and take care of them and everything. The saying is, men, or some men, would go so far to just use up a woman. Just use her up. As if she's some bag and now she's just some torn piece of plastic that has no use or value. Can't even put anything in her anymore. It's just torn.
They really don't like us. Ask a man if his woman is his best friend. I bet you she's not. I bet you he'll look at you like you have a second head and wonder, what do you mean friends? Why would we be friends?
The most eye-opening thing I ever learned about men was from my college human sexuality class, where the professor told us that men don't actually like women. Not all men, sure, but hang in. He said that the way that our society socializes boys to, quote, become men is not to tell them how to be men, it's just to teach them how to not be women. Don't cry, be a man. Don't be a pussy, be a man. Don't be weak, be a man. Don't be sensitive, be a man. Don't like those things, those are girl things. And the tool we use to do that kind of socializing, to steer them away from feminine things, is shame. And you just can't go your whole life being told that the worst thing you could do is be like a woman and expect to actually like women at the end of that.
Okay, to interrupt her, I get her point. And yes, you can say that a lot of men continue those same stereotypes, even to their own detriment. Yeah, understandable. That's something that's controlled by society and the people in control. However, the same point she's using, women use on each other and they use on men as well.
Don't be a pussy, be a man. Don't be weak, be a man. Don't be sensitive, be a man.
A lot of women raise their boys not to be soft, not to be punks, not to be waps. I want to swear too much, but you get the point. So whereas, yes, you can admit and agree that a lot of men do reinforce a lot of the patriarchal elements that don't benefit them as well.
Don't be a pussy, be a man.
Women also do that as well. Women do the exact same thing, use the exact same insults. What's more insulting to call a man than a bitch? I mean, So even though men reinforce it, women do so as well. But when women do it, they say it's internalized misogyny. It's women,
you're a traitor,
internalizing the hate being poured onto them by men.
They are also taught that their sexual attractiveness to women and their ability to get women is a status symbol in front of other men. So they will sexually pursue women, but they don't actually like them as people. This is how patriarchal masculinity socializes men, and why shame, violence, and disgust are so intricately linked.
Y'all ever get to the point where y'all realize y'all a little bit too single? Like, the single life been going all good and well, but you a little too single around this motherfucker. Like, you go the whole day with no missed calls. Wake up and no good morning text. The only notification you get is that your phone is 100% charged.
If there's one thing about my life that is pretty much always consistent, it's the fact that I'm primarily always single. And what I've realized is that the longer that I stay single, the more selective that I become. And that's really changed the way that I see dating and just approach dating in general. I've always thought that I'd rather be the girl who people ask, why is she single, than the girl who's with a guy and people are like, why is she with him? But overall, I feel like being picky has saved me from a lot of quote unquote low dating experiences, or low quality experiences. And whenever I start dating someone new, I always go back to what Monet said, that my cup is very much full. I have amazing friends, a career that I love. I'm saying this loud and clear for all the people in the back. You have to be bringing something that I do not supply myself. But also to the point that in my time being single, which has been the majority of my life, I was able to find myself and cultivate that relationship before adding someone else into the equation or finding someone else.
Okay, so here we have a woman who's been predominantly single for most of her life. To a degree, you can understand why a lot of women have this thinking nowadays, because a lot of women have had bad experiences, if not their own.
I have trust issues now.
Ones they've seen and learned from other women. Okay, now whether she believes men dislike women or not, the point is many women are very much comfortable living their own lives without a man, without having a man in their life. But when you add narratives to it, like men don't like women, it's like it really just
Blowing it out of proportion.
it would create more women like this, not just women who are naturally like this, maybe in her case, but the forced cat ladies who believed that men don't really like them and really, you know, are listening to the wrong stories of women who have been traumatized by dating knobs, dickheads, dusty dudes, players, playboys, F-boys, whatever, that they chose and chased continuously.
And another thing about me, I love my alone time. I am not going to give up that time for just anyone. And something I realized in my 20s is that I love experiencing things alone. It's great with somebody else, but there's also something so satisfying about just enjoying experiences with yourself. There is a lot that I'm not going to tolerate and or put up with for the simple fact that I am comfortable doing it on my own. Because what sense does it make to lower my standards just to have someone bring chaos and stress and just unbalance my balanced life? Listen to me so carefully when I say this. Become your standards. And I want you to remember that you have always been the prize, not him. So remove him from the pedestal, put yourself on it, and you're welcome.
And as a man, just remember, a woman's not the prize, no matter how lovely she is. You're the prize. You have to be. You're the man. Here. As men, yeah. You have no choice but to be valuable. Whereas women are, as I say, born with it. Men, you know you've got to build yours.
I don't think men like women. No. I've actually heard people say that, and I'm always like, I never really understood like what they meant. Like, I'm like, okay, like whatever.
I still don't understand it.
But I thought of something the other day. I'm like, wait, this actually makes sense.
Okay,
so
go on.
If you take any couple, right? Any couple that's been together for like 3+ years, not super toxic, not super healthy, just right in the middle. Like they just have that perfect balance, just a normal couple, you know, not a couple that has like narcissism, whatever, just like a regular, healthy, mentally healthy people. So if you ask them what they don't like about their partner, right? Most likely 9 times out of 10, the woman's going to say, these are the most common responses. He doesn't pick up after himself. He doesn't put the toilet seat down. Plays the game too much. Quality time. She wants more quality time, whatever. Or she doesn't like how he spends his time. The man, I kid you not, most likely he's gonna say something about her character. She nags too much. She cries too much. She talks too much.
To this day!
The top 3 I always hear. It's very... She nags too much. She cries too much. She talks too much.
It's not surprising those are the top 3, and that can drive you crazy as a man. But those are more just like making points, and men complaining. It's not really a dislike for the woman. Men complain about things they love. Look what men have done to Star Wars. They've ripped it apart.
Very rare if I hear anything outside of that. And now if he says something about her physical, that's just, y'all might as well break up. Okay?
Wow.
So yeah.
She got fat.
It's crazy the difference in responses because women deal with more shit from men. They deal with way more shit. They literally are their mother and their wife and the caregiver of the children. It's like they deal with way more stuff than men. And for men to attack the character over the woman attacking the character is crazy. Like, we should be attacking your character because look what you, like, you don't do shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just let me carry all the load. That's just crazy to me.
I've been saying for a long time, women romanticize and fantasize a lot of the poor characters about men.
Of course his ass is over here cheating. Oh, I can't stand, man. I can't stand.
Show me your massive cat.
Sorry. I don't know you like that.
A few weeks ago, I made a video on here talking about how I decentered men from my life when it came to dating, and I have not been able to stop thinking about all the other ways I actively and passively avoid men in my day-to-day life. I won't read books written by men, especially nonfiction, self-help, self-improvement, anything that's supposed to make my life better. There's nothing that man knows and is going to teach me that I don't already know. I actively avoid male healthcare providers at all costs. I do not want to see a male doctor if I have that choice. Some of the worst experiences I've had as a patient have been at the hands of male healthcare providers. I won't watch certain videos on here if they're made by a dude who looks like he took mushrooms in his 30s in order to learn things that I knew at 12 years old from tumblr.com. From when I wake up to when I go to sleep, I avoid men telling me things at all costs.
How are you supposed to meet someone romantically if it's not via Hinge, Instagram, any other social media platform, or if you don't really go clubbing or to bars that often? Well, let me tell you something. I also asked myself this question until the other day that I was on the bus on the way to Chelsea. I was just going for a little day out, going to get my nails done, little solo date. And I got on the bus and I was sat opposite on like those chairs of 4. This guy that, I'm not going to lie, I didn't really notice. I was in my own world. I didn't know what he looked like or anything like that. And then before I got off the bus, he said to me, oh, by the way, I really like your hoodie. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. That's so kind. And we were just talking a little bit and then we both missed our stop. So we both got off at the next stop and he then asked me if I knew anywhere around the area that was nice to go to for breakfast. And I did. So I recommended a couple of places and I was like, anyway, lovely to meet you. Bye-bye. But then before I left, he said, hey, do you want to go fetch coffee? And I was thinking, I don't know. Only because no one's ever asked me for a coffee or out like that before. It's always either been on social media or when I've been on a night out. So I was just a bit like, whoa. Anyway, I was like, yeah, sure, let's go for a coffee. Let's go grab a coffee. So we went and grabbed a coffee and we were sat talking for about an hour and a half. Seeing as though I did not know this guy at all. I didn't know his name until about half an hour into the conversation. And we were talking for an hour and a half. And for me, it was just really nice because I don't really go out clubbing that much anymore. I don't use dating apps or anything like that. So it was just really...
Young woman meeting a man in the wild, which, like I've been saying recently, is becoming slightly more common because a lot of dating apps are just effing with people mentally and emotionally. But my question here is it because she's young that she still has, you know, that glisten of hope in her eyes before she believes the nonsense?
Nice. I don't know, for me it was just a way to show that you don't have to be doing all of those things to be able to meet someone. And like, I'm not saying that anything's come from this because, you know, we got on really well and it was really lovely, but like, it was just the whole situation that we literally sat opposite each other on a bus and then 10 minutes later we were going for coffee with each other. You guys might be like, what the hell is she talking about? But I don't know, I just thought it was really nice and I think it's just a way to show that you don't have to be on all of these dating websites, you don't have to go out every single weekend if you want to meet someone. But yeah.
In this case, some men actually do, and I think they need to get therapy to figure out why they have that problem. But on the whole, men don't. Men just like to complain. But the thing about men is, men complain about things they like because they're men. Have a nice day.
She nags too much, she cries too much, she talks too much.